It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, welcome everyone to The Sam Lesante Show. Been doing this for 40 years, my friends, over 7,000 shows, and I appreciate you viewing in. And thank you so much for the response that you had on our scientific poll, where the question was, why do you watch The Sam Lesante Show? 95% of you said because you trust me, and I appreciate that very much. And doing 7,000 shows, I've had a lot of people on, and you get to a point sometimes where you know who the phonies are and who the people are who are real. And we have an election coming up November 4th in Pottsville. I love Pottsville. I've been there since 1999. This company, Samson Productions, has invested thousands of dollars in bringing local information to you. At one time, we had the mayor's report, and of course, we have the Schuylkill report that's on every month. But most importantly, the city is important, great people. I love them. But there's an election coming up November 4th, and it's critical for us to know who the people are. Forgetting about agendas, we need to know qualified people because they affect your lives. Tom Smith's my guest today. Tom is running for mayor in Pottsville. I met Tom before, and this is a paid show, incidentally. He's investing in you. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Sam.
And
glad to be here.
I got to say, I admire people like you who are running for office these days because you open yourself up to scrutiny. You never mind constructive criticism. It's when people have these agendas and they just start throwing mud, etc. And hopefully that's not going to be the case. But for those who do not know who Tom Smith is, who are you?
Local guy in Pottsville, nearly 40 years. Was moved to Pottsville as manager for Kinney Shoes as a young man. Most of your viewers aren't going to know who that is, but it was a great company.
I do.
I was with them for, okay. I was with them for years, treated me well, but moved to Pottsville in '86 and had just a daughter then before my son was born. Came there and just was a totally different atmosphere of people. We lived in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, State College, Du Bois. We're originally from Clearfield County. But the people here were so warm and inviting and welcoming. Our neighbors took us in and treated us like family, and we just really liked it. And I decided, after a short time as manager at the Fairlane Mall, that I would like to stay in the area. I thought, we'll give it a couple years and see how it works. Well, nearly 40 years later, 2 children, 3 grandchildren, we're still there. It's our home.
So, and I said, Pottsville is a great town. I really like it, and the people are just wonderful. So, as you see things happening in Pottsville, you know, you had Mayor Clues there, did a great, and Mayor Riley did a great job.
Absolutely. Yes.
John was great. He was good to me, and so was Dave Clues. Why did you decide to run for mayor? Because sometimes you wonder, well, you're successful because you worked at it. No one gave you anything, okay? Yeah. And people out there who have worked all their life understand that. But why did you decide to run for mayor?
Well, I'm somewhat retired. I have some properties I work on and so forth. My wife still has her investment firm, but I saw the decline of Pottsville in the last 10 years that it's just unimaginable that nobody has their eyes open and watching what's going on. I'm friends with Dave Close. Known him for 35 years. I was in the car business. Of course, we naturally worked together on some stuff, projects, but he got in there and he was hitting a brick wall because he did not have other candidates that were of the like party and got shut down. He really tried. But I just see that there's so much room for growth. There's so many good people there that I got on board when I found out they lost the CRIZ grant.
Okay, now that is critical. Okay, absolutely. Basically the homework I did on that CRIZ grant. Okay, explain to the public what that CRIZ grant is.
What that is a program that you are picked to enroll in, or you can enroll in it. Pottsville did not have any competition. The paperwork for the grant of this CRIZ was hand carried over from Dave Argle's office, given to the city, They filed the paper, but to get into the bones of what it is.
Yes.
It is 83% of your state sales tax coming back into your community, in your Pottsville, for a period of 30 years. To give you an idea where that's at, Tamaqua got it. They had competition, but they got it. They filled the paperwork out. In 2020, Tamaqua, with only 7,000 residents, received $500,000 that year. This year, talking to Dan, that runs the program for Tamaqua, great guy, by the way, they're getting $2 million this year. At 7,000, we have almost 14,000. Where will we be if we got it? The problem was they were notified at the end of June. Paperwork had to be in by October. They filed the paperwork, didn't ask for any help. Paperwork was wrong. Got it back. The state told them what to do to correct it. They didn't ask for any help. They're right down over the hill, literally. You were in Pottsville. City Hall's here. Alvernia College here. They have a lovely full-time grant writer that worked for me with the Y for free. They would have helped with that. Didn't bother engaging anybody. Didn't have the committees put together to do it. They were not prepared like Reading just got it, Erie just got it, and like I said, Tamaqua had it. They had their committees in place. Pottsville didn't. Submitted it again second time. Wrong again. They kicked it back. They didn't even bother filling it out the third time. They didn't even apply for it. And it was a slam dunk. It would have been anywhere from $45 to $60 million over the next 30 years. And that money was for infrastructure, you can divert money from other areas, like our police force is sadly hurting. We are so down with the police right now. We need 10 more officers. Yes, it's expensive to have, but you can divert other city money. Once that CRIS was available, we can take care of other things to divert the money into the police force.
So you're talking about money going into the general fund, right?
Yeah, it's a special program. It's designed for infrastructure rebuilding.
If you would have got $2 million,
yes,
for example, which would have been probably in the case $1 million or $2 million
easily,
based
every year,
and through neglect, I would think.
Yes.
Unless someone could show me differently, through neglect, the citizens of Pottsville cannot share on that money, which is so badly needed.
Right.
Am I saying that?
And it's not a yearly program. This CRIS grant wasn't offered for 5 years after the last time it was awarded. So, and again, you have to usually compete with like-sized cities. We're considered a third-class city.
Yes.
We had to compete with that. There was nobody else competing. It was basically ours for the taking. They didn't do it. We don't know if it's going to be brought back out for maybe the next governor. We don't know. It comes through the DCED, and they award it sporadically. It could be another 10 years before it's offered.
What was the reason? Did everyone was it because of the mayor? Was it because of city council? What was the reason why this thing was never followed?
The problem shared. So I addressed this at a city council meeting.
Okay.
And I asked what it was. First off, one told me they only had 2 weeks to get it together. Another one said a month. And then the city councilman right now that's running against me for mayor, he said he didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
Now, that's really important to know that he did not know anything about this CRIS grant, which could have changed the complexity of the city in a short amount of time.
Yes, yeah.
So it was from the city administrator right down through to your city councilman.
So, as a result of them not following through,
yes,
the citizens of Pottsville suffer.
Absolutely suffer.
In terms of not getting that kind of grant. Okay.
Absolutely suffering from it. It's just neglect. The problem we have, Sam, why I also got involved, there's no transparency. There's absolutely no transparency with any of the authorities, any of the councils, to find out anything about where the taxpayers' money is going. You have to file a right to know. I've been in business my whole life. I ran business, owned my own businesses. As a young man, I was on the Schuylkill County Chamber of Commerce. Every month, I had to go to the board meeting and report to them if we handle money, where the money situation was, what we raised, or what we accomplished for that month. And then, the committee I was on. You go to City Hall, there's no financial statements. There's nothing. You have Greater Pottsville Sewer Authority announcing to us that we have a major project coming up and your rates are going to really go up. Well, how do we know what the cost, what this is, because there is no transparency with any accounting procedures. There's no profit and loss. There's no financial statements on anybody's account. Nobody's taking care of this. Redevelopment. My God, they just paid the guy that's the city solicitor, the redevelopment attorney, and the Greater Pottsville Sewer Authority. He's their solicitor for all of them. They just paid him $194,000 in the last 2 years. And you got a controller that's running for city council, and he approved all of it. He signed off on all of it, and there's no accountability for it. The citizens have no idea what's going on with money. What's he charging on the other 2 solicitorships? I've just never heard. A city is a business. You can have great people, polite, popular, everything, but if they're not a business person, they're not going to be able to run. They're not going to be able to run the city.
Boy, oh boy, Thomas, I've been singing this song for many, many years. You know, they vote for these people because they're popular, they tell jokes, and they're nice to be with. And who pays the price for their inefficiency and management that they? But the people.
Yes.
You just said something, and I say this all the time, and I don't care who the person is, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't make any difference. Unfortunately, we have people who are staunch this and staunch that, don't care. That I have no time for those people. But the citizens of Pottsville, okay, are going to be faced with increases, like you said, whether it's through city taxes, whether it's through sewer, water, because of mismanagement and people who are not qualified. And what happens is they put the good old boys in. You know, get in. Let me put the good old boys in, and they don't care about what's happening. When we come back from break, we're going to show some pictures here, which shock me because when I get there, I have specific places I go to, and when I see what I just see here is saying, well, my God, you know, someone has to be accountable, Thomas.
Yes.
Okay. So then what they do is this. See, I know a lot of great guys who are congressmen and senators. They're doing a good job, but the opposition don't like that. And so what they do is they try to really hammer them and I don't like your pants, and look at that, he's doing this, etc. God forbid we should be successful in this world.
Exactly.
You worked hard all your life.
Yes.
And that's what we want people to do. When they work hard, they're able to do rewards. I told you the story. When I go to my doctor, I go to my lawyer, where I go, I want to know that they're successful. I want to walk into an office that's impressive. I want to know that, you know, he has a home in Florida. God bless him. I think that because he knows what he's doing, or she knows what she's doing. And don't you find that happening now? Because, you know, it seems to me that you're on the path of, you know, getting in there and getting things done and being transparent. And maybe people don't like that. You hit a nail that I've been so sensitive with for years and years and years. And I tell, especially senior citizens,
yes,
they are lied to constantly.
Absolutely.
Oh, he came in. Oh, he's a nice guy. He's a wonderful guy. He smiled and he patted my little dog. Okay, well, that's one. But he has no knowledge of what's going on. It's just incredible. I'm sorry, continue on.
So to give you an idea, I mean, you know, we came to Pottsville. I had a good job with Kinney Shoes. I worked mall hours relentlessly. I was rewarded for it. But when we came to Pottsville, my wife wasn't working. The only goal we had in my late 20s, going into my early 30s, we just wanted to have a wash. We wanted to own our own washer and dryer, so my wife and daughter wouldn't have to spend their afternoons at the laundromat. Mm-hmm. You know, that's all we wanted. Did we turn that into something more? Yeah, we did. But we both worked very hard. I've never just had one job. Yeah. When I was employed by somebody, I always did building improvements, bought property building, you know, apartment buildings and so forth. We worked 7 days a week, but we were rewarded for it. But we also had good family time. Our kids did well for this. So I'm never going to apologize for my wife and I being successful.
And shame on you for working so hard.
Yes.
Shame on you, Thomas, and because you just got everything, okay? You went in a political thing and they took care of you and all their friends, etc., which is, you know what? And we paid a price for that.
Yes.
And that's why I tell the citizens, no matter who they are, don't let them fool you, okay? And don't because they have their cliques, and you said about that city hall, any city hall, should be open to anybody. You should be able to walk in there and say, I would like to know about the police department. I'd like to know about the fire. I'd like to know about this. At appropriate times, not going in there to disrupt anything. That should be open. But you're telling me that doesn't exist in Pottsville now.
So I was told for years it's the old boys club in there. And I thought, this is bull. It is not. And I'm embarrassed that I didn't know enough what was going on. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's the old boys club. These people on these authorities, Greater Pottsville Sewer Authority, the redevelopment authority. They're not vetting people, quality people that can fill those positions to know what's in that. It is their friends and their relatives. I know of a very, very successful builder, construction man that has hundreds of employees under him because he's so successful and has offices in Scranton, Harrisburg, all over. He offered to put his time into the redevelopment committee to help bring Pottsville back because he's a Pottsville resident. He's proud of Pottsville. They told him, "You're not the right party. You're not gonna get on."
Boy, that frustrates me. And and here's a person, I don't know who it is, if he's successful in all these different areas.
Yes.
Boy, you want a person like that.
Yes.
You know, I used to have advisory boards when I was chairman of the board of community college. Those advisory boards, we brought anybody in. We didn't care whether they're Democrats or Republicans. We brought everybody in. That's why we built a college for less than $10 million. And that's why we have a college today that basically was not political and wasn't good old boys. Yes, I had a lot of friends of mine. And but are you qualified? Do you meet the qualifications? Exactly. And you're a nice person, but that's what we did. And it's unfortunate. And that's why I think who's ever, I don't know your opponent, and maybe you'll come on the show, I have no idea. But the point is, Tom, we need qualified people there.
Yes.
A little bit more about your background, okay? Some of the, you were involved with the Y, okay?
I'm president of Schuylkill County YMCA. Got involved with them about 11 years ago, and through getting a great board of directors, qualified people, knowledgeable people, we took a Y that was almost closing and built that up. We have now just completed just about a $2.5 million joint venture with Alvernia College. We put a gymnastics center in there, and it's going to absolutely make our YMCA. It's a Schuylkill County YMCA. It's not the Pottsville YMCA. We're located in Pottsville. That's the county seat.
Yeah.
So we're located there, but it's going to make us that we can open our doors to the gymnasium 7 days a week. Now it's only 3 days a week. We're going from 5,400 square foot, where these poor gymnastic people running the program, they got to tear the equipment down and put it back up. It's an hour and 45 minutes every time they do it. Now it's going to be a full-time gymnastics center. We're going from 5,400 square feet to 7,600 square feet, and it's full-time. We have 73 kids on the floor. We have another 280 waiting. So
you realize that you're going to have a lot on your plate as the mayor. Okay?
Yes.
You realize that you're going to have to, address some of these concerns. And my friends, we come back, we're going to show you some pictures here, okay? And to me, it's, in my opinion, it's total neglect on what you see here. You want to be proud of your city. But remember, when you put people in here who do not know what they're doing, you're going to pay the price. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. 40 years we've been doing this. Thank you for making the Sam Lesante Show the #1 talk show in northeastern Pennsylvania. November 4th in Pottsville is a big day. It's election day, and Tom Smith here is running for mayor of Pottsville. If you just tuned in, you know this show is playing many times on Comcast 190. Also, YouTube channel and our website. All the shows we have are our website. Tom, you were talking about the city and some of the things that exist in the city right now. I'm shocked to see these myself, and I've been there for so many years. Okay, since 1999. Let's talk about when you talk about effective management, you talk about keeping the city at least decent, okay?
Yes.
Explain what the viewers are seeing right now.
You might be thinking you're looking at Braddock, Pennsylvania, but this is actually Pottsville. Not only Pottsville, it is one of our pride streets. It is Montongo Street. Yingling Brewery, I live on it. This has been like this in deterioration for 15 to 20 years. Right here is a blockade that says road closed. Now the concrete's falling in on it. This is 3 blocks away from Yingling Brewery. So people pass us. We bring 75,000 people into the city. Yingling does, as a favor to us. Bring 75,000 people in to go to the brewery, 10,000 for lager, jogger alone. And this is one of the first things they see.
Let's go on another one here, okay?
This is Pierce Street in Bunker Hill section. This is a sidewalk people are to be walking on. This is where we're at. This is the neglect. It's a failed program. This is one of our city streets. That is Montongo Street again, other side of the street from where that Blight building was. This is a main walking path for everybody to go to Yingling Park, go to the Yingling Brewery, and go downtown. You got 3 to 4 foot high weeds coming out of the sidewalks. There's no pride. There's no reason for these people to do anything. They're complacent, so they're happy with their own lives, but they're killing us.
Here's another one.
Downtown Pottsville, third block of town, right by Roma Pizza, right by Drazder's Tailoring. People cross this all the time. This has some action going on. This has been 4 years, over 4 years, with this sidewalk shut and the scaffolding out. They gave this to a builder. His name's there. I don't know if you need to block that out, but the name's there. He's guaranteed he's going to have it done. They handed it to him. There's no oversight. They gave the builder this to redevelop. Didn't give him a timeline, or if they did, they're not following through with it. There's no oversight to make sure any of these things are done right. Yeah, that's the beauty there. That is 1/2 block from Yingling Brewery. People park at this meter to go to Yingling Brewery, and that's what they're greeted by. Welcome to Pottsville. Falling down gutter. This has been empty now for 10, 15 years. Nothing's happening with it. So this is a funny story with this, but it's really not. It's a sad story that angers me. In the spring, the guy that's running against me as mayor went up. He's on city council right now. Went up, used this on his Facebook page, this playground. It's on Race Street. Used the playground and said, I got a company to volunteer to redo this playground to help the kids up there in that area. Well, what they did, they did not put any weed cover down. They threw mulch down. With that, we found out through a right to know, we had to file a right to know, find out, no, the landscaper didn't do it for free. We paid him as taxpayers. We paid him $2,400 for this mess. And now look, it's condemned again. Trash here, weeds on this side you can't see. This is for the kids up there in Race Street. This is what they're supposed to be playing on, and they can't even go in there. Blocked off. This is how they handle things. They don't follow through with anything. This is Race Street again. Now these people, it doesn't show as bad as it is. You really want to check your tires and your suspension when you're on this road. This has been sitting like this for 5 months. They hired a company from out of town to put in new water lines and new water mains to the house. That's great. Their job, I talked to the superintendent of construction yesterday that works for this company. Their job was to fill the holes back in where the pipes were run and to put asphalt on top of that. The city's obligation was to then go over top of their asphalt and go curb to curb. The superintendent told me the city's reneging on it. They're not doing it. And it is like a battle zone up there.
You know, the interesting things, my friends, think about this. They have great organizations in Pottsville, PATCO, Chamber of Commerce, Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce. They work very hard to bring business in and to bring people in so you can employ, and it's good for the city. Now picture this. You're a head of a company, you're a president, you're a CEO, and you're looking to bring your business to Pottsville, Pennsylvania. So you now go and visit the city and you look around, but not only that, before you move, you want to bring your spouse, or your spouse comes and female brings her husband or whatever, and you bring your family into that city. And when you go around the city, you want to be able to see something that's nice and that people are taking care of your city. That's important, isn't it? And when they walk around and they see stuff like this, Tom, it's discouraging. And you say, well, wait a minute, how come that's this? And how many years is this? And how many? And here again, through neglect, the citizens of Pottsville suffer, all right?
Absolutely.
And so whatever that good old boy club, and regardless what Republican or Democrat does, I don't care what it is, it's not healthy for the city. And you would hope that, maybe you're the person, maybe you're not the person, but you're there and it looks like you're doing a lot of homework, aren't you?
Yes. So one of the things is, and mostly you just hit on it. It's a municipal election. It's not about Republican or Democrat.
Yes.
It's not. It's about taking care of the people. It's not blue and it's not red. And I'm going to steal Jerry Ender's line. It's about right or wrong.
Yeah.
And they're wrong. They're wrong with this. The problem we have right now is there's nobody that's pursuing the blighted properties. They're not prosecuting. You're having people come in from Staten Island, New York. A lot of these buildings downtown are owned by out-of-town landlords. And the situation is they don't care if they do anything with it because they're waiting for redevelopment to come through and pay them the big bucks. Well, it's not happening.
No, it's not happening.
So me and my running mate, Scott Price, John Marsh, we had an hour conference with Jersey City, New Jersey's blight task force and so forth. They have the toughest rules on the East Coast. And what they do is they find these property owners that have blighted properties, they raise their fees every year. What I would like to propose, if you're out of the area and you're coming to Pottsville to buy a blighted property, we're going to take that blighted property, figure out what it's going to cost to drop it and demo it and dispose of it. Before you buy that property, you're going to put into an escrow account the equal amount of what it's going to take to dispose of that. If that building is not worked on and improved in 3 years, we're taking that money and we're dropping that building. You improve it, you do it in a year, you get your money back. But there's been way too long that we're way too lax on these property owners. I talked to some people yesterday that are in Section 8 housing. Wonderful people sitting on the front porch, just happened to be going by, introduced myself and asked them how things were. They said, well, a few years ago it was really nice. Now it's at the point they're in Section 8 housing, and my wife and I owned Section 8 housing back in the 90s. My Section 8 housing for my tenants was nicer than all my other apartments because I was held to task that everything had to be up to code. No chip paint, everything had to be up to code. These people yesterday told me that every year they have Section 8 inspectors come through, they cite the landlord on what needs to be improved, and the landlord doesn't do anything year after year. This is part of the problem. They're not pursuing these people and holding them to task to make sure that this stuff is done. So every year, something else is less worse. So half the time, their doors don't even lock. And the landlord's in New York or somewhere. They don't even know where he's from.
Looking at the police department, the fire department, the streets department, things that are really concerning. I mean, God forbid you're going to have houses fire or you need police. How do you see those? We got a minute left. How do you see those departments?
First off, we have one of the most fantastic volunteer fire departments throughout the city. A lot of them are combining. They're fantastic. They just need help financially. So with the police, we're down 10 police officers. We can find the money through redundancy and overspending on other departments to put more police there. Our guy, Scott Price, works for Toyota, and he does redundancy reduction. He makes things more efficient. That's what he does. He's going to be excellent for this position.
Thomas, let me tell you this. I know you're going to come back and do another show. I'm going to tell you this. Expect mud to be thrown at you.
Absolutely.
Expect them to do everything they possibly can, because it looks like you're gonna stir up a lot of interest in, and that's when people don't like that. Okay.
Certain ones.
Yeah. So be prepared for that. It's unfortunate. It'd be nothing like having a good debate. And if you.
Well, that's one thing, Sam. They won't debate us.
Oh,
we asked several times. Well, they will not debate us.
That's a big red flag for me, I'll tell you.
Yes.
That's a big. Well, anyway, Tom Smith, running for mayor. He's here. He's saying the way it is. You, the public, have to decide November 4th, and we'll have him on again. And the opposition is willing to give me a call. This is a paid programming. We're more than happy to accommodate. We'll see you next time.